So this one, I actually had my niece help when watching it. My parents were very adamant about not watching it. They were asking so many questions. Is it appropriate for a toddler? I don't think she wants to watch this. Is this one of those animes you watch? Are you sure she will like it? My God, it's just a girl, her horse, trying to rescue another horse. Yes, it's appropriate. It's DreamWorks in all 3D. I'm not putting Don on in front of a toddler. They also got mad when I tried to put Nightmare Before Christmas on because it might be scary. All because they have a tiny little guillotine in there. Let her decide that. Also fairly sure she doesn't know what a guillotine is. This is why Disney is winning. No one wants to take a chance on a show or a movie anymore unless it's been confirmed to be 10 out of 10, appropriate for all people of all ages of all time, and not woke. And in return, Disney only succeeds with Lilo and Stitch because it's literally the only family-friendly film that's not Marvel or DC. Alright, reality rant over, time for the horse one. Or, Spirit, riding free, ride-along adventure. If this looks familiar to you, it should. Another from a long time ago, of 2002. Spirit is remembered among animation fans for its animation in the movie. Unfortunately, this is also around the time audiences wanted more 3D and didn't want to see a 2D movie. Yeah, I hated that era too. It was considered a box office disappointment, and never heard from again. That is until DreamWorks Television came along and decided to make a TV show out of it. I thought that they might have brought him into the future, like into the 80s or something, but like the movie being set in the mid-1800s, this show actually takes place at near the same time. I have seen a few episodes, since my niece is now hooked on it, so I know the characters and stories a bit. See, kids can like other things, besides Disney. I say that knowing full well there is at least $2,000 worth of Mickey Disney merchandise in that house. But enough goading over the fact that she now calls her stuffed horses Spirit and Lucky. You're welcome! So like with the Boss Baby review, how are we approaching this one? Well, this one, you aren't going to go down wildly different scenes. This one will just be done in parts. You can see the parts down there all on the runtime so you can see where you're at. But it will fall into 5 parts. The trail ride, the Bandits Steel Mystery, Butch Lepray, the bunker, and the island. The interactive starts out with one of the characters, Marcela Gutierrez, needing her horse distracted so she could put together a party for the horse. This girl is gonna be the weird, rich, eccentric one, isn't she? Actually, she's barely in this. So Prue, Abigail, and Lucky, our main cast, take their horses and a mystery horse, called Mystery, out onto the land and find Spirit's old herd. Your first choice involves which way to go, the quarry or the mountain trail. It doesn't matter because the choices just put us in the same spot by the lake.
Little did I know that day, this single choice would affect the future in vastly different ways.
It just depends on which way to go. The quarry you already went down before in the show, but you might find some new things that changed. You do get a second choice to either backtrack to the mountains or keep going. The keep going choice does give us a little bit of danger as you're escaping on horseback, and because it's real now, I am now obligated to play this. The mountain trail just leads us up to the mountain and get a nice view of the area. Also, Abigail starts insulting some dolphins.
Dolphins!
We get to the lake so the horses and the girls can rest. But oh no! Mustangers show up and capture the horses, including the mystery horse. This is where you start making choices that will affect the story. First choice, investigating or going for help in town. Now this is where I should say that I did lose a bit of choice here. Remember that choice you already made in the beginning? Well, that was apparently choices that greatly affect what you will go through. Unlike in the Boss Baby review, where they clearly state that you will be going down different paths, I am always used to the first choice being a nothing choice, being a tutorial. It's always just a tutorial of how the system or the game works. Even Bandersnatch had a tutorial choice for you to get used to the game, get you immersed in the story. But Sierra decided, no, your first choice can and will affect the story. I'm not sure how to feel about that. On the one hand, I like that seemingly meaningless choices can have giant impacts on the story. On the other hand, we just started! Ease me into it, man! So investigating leads the girls to find Mystery's footprints because she has that special branded kicks. They find where the bandits are and Mystery fighting them, traveling through the quarry. Then, another choice. Charge! Or Charging in results in the bandits holding their ground, getting away with mystery, and having to go back home to reveal the bad news. This is a dead-end choice. The sneak attack is where we have slight deviation. So if you go through the mountains, they find out that the bandit gang takes in homeless kids into the gang, and they used to work for Butch Lepray. Unfortunately, while listening to the kids and the bandits, one of the bandit gang members sneaked up on the girls during the sneak attack. One of the bandit gang members sneaked up on the girls during their sneak attack. They failed to rescue Mystery, but now they have a lead, Butch Lepray. The other choice is if they go through the quarry instead of the mountains. This one is a bit more proactive for the girls. Remember that landslide that they went through? They cause another landslide to trap the bandits. In the confusion, Lucky manages to get the horse out and away. This isn't a quick ending though, because in the alternate scene, the girls know the kids are working with the gang. This one, they don't, and are tricked by Josie into following her into an ambush instead of into town to tell the sheriff what is going on. So the girls get ambushed and lose Mystery. Again. But they have a clue to follow up on, a bandana. They take the bandana to the sheriff, who tells them this is a bandana for Butch Lepray gang, but she's in jail right now. So that is all the choices for investigating it yourself. So what is the choices if you go and alert the authorities? You ride into town and start looking for the sheriff, but see the gang in town sporting their bandanas, and overhear them planning on robbing a bank. And now you have a few other choices here that you could do. Follow the bandits, get help, stow away, or steal the tools. So if you decide to follow the bandits, this just exposes the girls for trying to expose the bandits, and brings us to the other three options. Getting help is the girls finding the sheriff, they get back to the coach, seeing the family of bandits returning, and then running away, leaving behind a bandana for Lucky to bring to the sheriff and tell them about Butch Lepray. Stowing away involves the bandit family getting into the coach while the girls are hiding out in the back. They overhear them talking about the boss, their new boss, Frankie. While they are talking, the coach runs into something and the pals fall out with the money. They ride back into town to give the money back and go to their lead, Butch Lepray. Missed opportunity here. The girls could have bought Mystery with the stolen money, or the criminals get punished for not coming back with the money. And stealing their tools is just that. One of the horses takes their tools, no heist. The bandits ride off frustrated and leave behind the red bandana. Lucky finds it, Shadow tells the girls, and brings us to the start of part 3, Stardust Crusaders with Butch Lepray. We finally get to meet the Butch Lepray. Again, only seen a few episodes, so this is probably a villain from the show. So the girls tell Butch her gang went and stole their horse. A bit of a shock for her since she told them to lay low and then bust her out. But then it's revealed that her sister took over the gang, Frankie Lepray, aka Francis. Butch offers to help the girls in exchange for some mementos from her old house. Illusion of choice here. You could help Butch or not help. Not helping Butch just leads us outside and realizing she's the only lead they have, and back to helping Butch. The mementos are a pocket watch and a bottle of perfume. She does give them a little heads up that the house is booby-trapped. Only way in is the cellar. Well, we get there, cellar is blocked off, and the girls have to decide which way to go. The chimney, window, or the front door. You take the window, Lucky sees a bear trap, but easy enough to get around. The chimney is a dead-end ending. Lucky tries to go down the chimney, but her weakness.
What is that? What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Open my eyes! Eyes! Ah! Ah!
They try to wait them out to clear the area, but they just waste the day and lose Mystery. The door one I like just because they use Spirit to kick in the door. Unfortunately, the real trap was the hole leading to the basement, and actually thinking on their feet, uses the spurs to get them out of the hole. They get to Butch's room and find the items they need. They take the items back to Butch, but she only gives them more tasks to do. The pals aren't happy about it, but relent to it. Their next task is to find her bunker that was abandoned and bring Butch back a doll from her childhood. Now time for Spirit riding free is Unbreakable, the Bandits bunker. So, starting out, we have another deviation depending on the choices we made earlier. So if you get to the bunker, but the old gang moved in and makes the retrieval mission into a stealth mission, you have the choice of walking in with the other bandits or sneaking in. Either way is fine, nothing really changes the outcome, just on your playstyle. Anyways, we go through the bunker to the room. It all depends on if you have the bandana or not. Specifically, if you did the sneak attack from earlier. If you have the bandana, you get to sneak around some more, but if no bandana, Then Frankie brings you and your friends to the other kids, thinking they're all working together. Frankie tells them a story of arson, and then gives the girls a choice: tell the truth or stay quiet. It doesn't really matter since Lucky tells the truth in either choice, but not quite a choice that leads us to the same place. Difference is, staying quiet, Frankie starts threatening the kids and tries to bargain for mystery. Frankie ain't listening, so Lucky calls her Frances. Bad move, because this just gets the kids thrown out and tied up. The kids return to the game at half the wage, while the pals need to untie themselves. If Lucky does tell the truth, they still get tied up, taken outside to the bunker, but the kids will let them go, since you helped them out earlier. They give them the clue that the horses are on an island, and the pals have to decide if they're going to go follow Frankie or go back to Butch. That is one way to go about it. The second way this could play out is if you did do the sneak attack with the landslide and had the bandana, Frankie just gets annoyed and pushes Lucky out the way. Lucky regroups with the pals and sees Sean and Josie, the bandit kids, carrying a crate and being mocked by the adults. Here you have three choices: help them, help and follow them, or leave the bunker. So if you choose to help them and follow them, gets her a favor from them. The pals then get to eavesdrop on the gang and find out about the horses being on an island. You then get the choice again to either go to Butch or follow Frankie. If you just help them, it's the same as helping and following them. Difference is who you hear where the horses are being held from. If you choose to leave the bunker, kids drop the cake, get laughed at, and docked on their pay. Lucky gets mad at their treatment and wants to do something. Another three choices to choose from: confront Frankie, stay undercover, or go back to Butch now. Confronting Frankie just pisses her off and makes some endings impossible now, because you called her by her real name. Staying undercover reveals the island and opens up the Butch and Frankie choice. Going back to Butch just bypasses you straight to her. And now we enter part 5, the island's golden wind! You decide to either follow Frankie or go back to Butch, and this will decide the ending based on the choices you make. You have no more choices to make after this. You have a total of 6 endings entering the island. We will start with the best outcomes to the worst outcomes. Starting with, you went back to see Butch. The first one happens if you didn't call Frankie Francis and you helped the kids. So you head back to Butch, where she tells you about rafts hidden that you can use to get to the island where the horses are being kept. She tells them that the safe key will work on the horse lock. The girls take the raft to the island, find the mystery horse, and are about to escape, but they get surrounded by Frankie and her gang. But then Butch shows up. How are you here? Apparently those items I got had a second purpose to them, helping her escape. The lockpick watch and the chloroform perfume I can at least get. The doll I am a little confused on of why it's there, other than sentimental value that she leaves. So Butch takes the gang back, but offers Frankie a chance to join it. The first ending happens if Frankie doesn't know the pals know her real name. Frankie accepts her offer to join, sisters make up and hug, and being in a good mood, when Lucky wants all the wild horses freed, she obliges. She even gives the bandit kids a boat. This is a nice criminal mastermind. Since you helped the kids, they do feel a need to return the favor. So this is the best ending. You freed some horses, got the mystery horse back, stopped some bandits, reunited 2 sisters. Oh yeah, and now you get to go to that horse party. Horses party, horses! The second ending is the same as the first, except when the kids are trying to leave with the horses, the tide is too high. Normally Sean and Josie would show up with the boat, and they do show up, but they don't help with the horses. You didn't help them, so they feel no obligation to help you. So the pals take the raft, leaving the horses on the beach, where I assume some will try to get to land and die, or be recaptured by the Lepray sisters. They get back to Marisol with their horse, and that's the second ending. The third ending is if Francis knows Butch leaked her real name. They get mad and are about to duel, but kids show and the girls wanted that. I don't think they are going to suddenly turn western in the last 5 minutes. So Frankie rides off in a huff, threatening the pals. Butch lets the pals go, but keeps all the wild horses, giving them a 30-second head start. Those are all the choices if you go back to Butch. The next 3 are if you follow Frankie. So if you follow Frankie and her bandits to the shore, where they load up the horses, this ending is only possible if you've been to the mountains, don't return the doll, and help Sean and Josie. Abigail remembers a way to the island, remembering the shoreline that she saw that island when she was saying those racial slurs to the dolphins. They use the low tide to find the mystery horse, but don't know about the key being able to unlock the horses. Since they help Sean out, he has his key and they use that to escape, with the mystery horse, using a bit of land to get back to the shore. They arrive back, but then tells them that they are too early, they ruined the surprise. It's been a long day. How have you not had this party done by now? How long does it take to set up a party? The next one is if you haven't been to the mountains and don't know about the low tide. They have no choice but to sneak onto the boat with the other kidnapped horses. And if you help Sean, he'll notice you but won't say anything. Their horses are now in the pens, but Mystery is in there for some reason. Sean and Josie help them escape, telling them about the stretch of land connecting the island. The pals and their horses get away, but no Mystery. They go back to Butch, but then, plot twist! Butch took Mystery and are far from the jail and the pals. The third and final ending is possible if you haven't been to the mountains, didn't bring in Butch her doll, and didn't help the kid bandits. Since you have no knowledge, leverage, or allies, Sean points you out, they leave the pals tied on the boat while they steal their horses. This is the worst ending. So that was Spirit, Riding Free, Ride Along. How was it? Honestly, not that good. Don't get me wrong, there are things that are salvageable, and I like they had different combinations of endings and how to get them. It makes it slightly more challenging to get all the endings. I do hate that a single choice can kind of turn things upside down, but that's life. I do like that the girls do ram heads and offer different options. I think the only problem I have is the characters itself. More on where they are and when in the story they are. Like Butch escaping. She just kind of gets to the island. Only way there is by boat. Yeah, you have the low tide way, but the girls are blocking that way. Maybe you could say she got there early like the girls did in the fourth ending. But then the fifth one, she not only escapes, but steals Mystery. I don't think she can escape jail, get the horse, and get out of there. Not without someone noticing that quick. I do like that they give an ending that is a bad ending, and some with half good endings. Like the bees in the chimney. Okay, you have bees all over the first floor, but it's the second floor where all the stuff is. You could close the door, get the gear, and run. Little things like that. The characters are decent enough, not expecting something spectacular. The animation is 3D, but it's like a flat 3D. 3D kid shows was more this, overly inflated and bouncy. This one I think I liked because they weren't trying to bounce everywhere all at once, all the time, or have a joke every 20 seconds. So I say this is an interactive that is good if you are a child. If you are a girl growing up with this, it should satisfy you enough. But for the older audience above 10, probably not. And if you are a fan of the show, you will definitely love this. I know we all want what is best for kids' entertainment. I don't want to see them watching AI slop 24/7 on YouTube. But not everything we saw was Disney quality. Hell, depending on the year, Disney content was arguably worse. I know we all want what is best, but sometimes you get something only halfway decent. And according to reviews for this one, it wasn't quite well received. But I mean, there's only like 24 interactives, so you can realistically rank them. It's not like trying to rank all movies in 1 year, or all anime in 1 year. I kind of agree with the reviews. It's not one I would come back to, but one if a kid was exploring Netflix, I would like them to take a look at it. So if I were to give this a rating, I would give it a kid's first meal that they cooked. It's clunky, a little undercooked, not exactly challenging meal to pull off. But you can eat it just fine because you know this meal, it's a stepping stone to more advanced meals. Ones that are challenging, that are experimental, they get weird. So Spirit, Riding Free, the interactive I'm glad to have seen, not ashamed of, but will probably leave behind if I had to save an interactive. So Spirit, Riding Free, I think I have only a few more of these to get through, and then I could finally do a tier list on all the Netflix interactives. Sorry I was out for like a month and a half. Between getting sick in June, going on vacation, and my voice was failing me, I've been trying to get back into it for like the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to be consistent, but life happens. So that's the poll this week. Which is better? Go to the left thumbnail if you prefer to get sick and then go on vacation. Or the right is vacation first and then you get sick. I am curious which way this leans. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Fight it out. And with that, Jopan out!